Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yutapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Caitanya Pravaha online course. Today is the first session that we are having, and in 18 sessions we will be discussing entire Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. Caitanya-caritamrita is divided into 3 sections by its author Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And the 3 sections are Adilila, the early pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu; Madhyalila, the pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu that he has performed after he has taken sannyas for 6 years. And the last 18 years of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are covered in Antilila. So this Sri Caitanya-caritamrita has 3 parts: Adilila, Madhyalila and Antilila. And all together in all these 3 sections we have 62 chapters in Caitanya-caritamrita. And there are 11,519 shlokas in Caitanya-caritamrita. And these 11,000 plus shlokas are in 2 different languages, Sanskrit and Bengali. And Kaviraj Goswami not only composes his original Sanskrit and Bengali verses in Caitanya-caritamrita, Kaviraj Goswami also quotes from more than 50 scriptures. He quotes more than 800 shlokas from more than 50 other scriptures like Vishnu Purana, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and many such literatures, just to substantiate the points that he is making philosophically, providing great Shastric evidence. So it is such a very elaborate scripture, 62 chapters and more than 11,500 shlokas. And to comprehend all this, it takes a lot of effort. One thing is, some intelligence is needed to understand. Secondly, some background of some basic understanding of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam are also required. And more than all these things, the blessings of Vaishnavas that we receive from our service attitude are required to understand Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. And Caitanya-caritamrita is such an amazing literature that it is filled with nectarian pastimes of Lord Caitanya along with pristine philosophy, Chaitanya Tattva. So philosophy and pastimes are very beautifully described in Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. We not only see the enchanting Leelas, activities done by Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, we also understand Krishna Tattva, Radha Tattva, Gaura Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, all these great tattvas, philosophical truths, we can understand from Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. Thus, it's actually a feast for all Shastric lovers to read Caitanya-caritamrita. One who reads Caitanya-caritamrita with great enthusiasm and devotion will never have any philosophical dissatisfaction. So if someone has appetite for philosophy, then definitely Caitanya-caritamrita can completely satisfy, because Adilila first 7 chapters are completely filled with philosophy, where Krishna Tattva, Gaura Tattva, Nityananda Tattva, Advaita Tattva, Pancha Tattva, they're all explained. And in the Madhya Leela also, there is a lot of philosophy through the discussions that happen between Ramananda Rai and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and also Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, and Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu with Prakashananda Saraswati. So in all these conversations, pristine philosophy is very wonderfully presented in the Madhya Leela. And even in Antya Leela also, you find some philosophical points here and there. And apart from philosophy, there are also very nice pastimes through which we understand the Supreme Lord's interactions with his pure devotees. So Sri Caitanya-caritamrita also teaches us very wonderful nuances of Vaishnava character and Vaishnava friendships and dealings. Thus, Caitanya-caritamrita is such rich literature that enlightens us in various ways. How to have such loving friendships and relationships and dealings with other Vaishnavas in a Vaishnava community. So that is very much explained through the exemplary activities of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees in Caitanya-caritamrita. So like the Caitanya-caritamrita is a very amazing literature, and it's our great fortune to study Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. And in these 18 sessions, we will be covering all these 62 chapters of Caitanya-caritamrita, Adilila, Madhya Leela and Antya Leela. Certainly, we will not be able to touch every single shloka. Generally, in our Vidhyapeetha, Bhaktivedanta Vidhyapeetha, this Caitanya-caritamrita is about 400 hours course. More than 400 hours we teach. So, touching every single verse and elaborately discussing all the purports given by Srila Prabhupada. But in this 18 sessions course, each session would be around 1.5 hours. So, in about 27 hours, we will try to see the expanse of Caitanya-caritamrita. We may not be able to see the depth of Caitanya-caritamrita because depth is unlimited. So we will see all the chapters in a very quick format. So 62 chapters covered in about 18 sessions. Each session, at least we need to cover 3 to 4 chapters. But I will definitely cover some philosophical chapters in a little slower pace and pastimes in a little faster pace. Basically, wherever we need to spend little time to understand the concepts or philosophy, I will spend that much time, and whichever is little easier to digest, I will go little faster. So that's how we will try to cover the flow of Caitanya-caritamrita. In this Caitanya Pravaha, we will see the flow. Pravaha means flow. We will see the flow of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. As far as details are concerned, definitely Srila Prabhupada has given a 9-volume Caitanya-caritamrita book. He has given translations and purports and word by word meanings of each of these 11,519 shlokas. So you can always go through them. So now Caitanya-caritamrita is written by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And before Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has written Caitanya-caritamrita, this wonderful biography of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, there were some other biographies already existing. So there was a book called Sri Caitanya-caritamrita written by Murari Gupta. And there is another book called Chaitanya Mangala written by Lochin Das Thakur. There is another biography of Lord Caitanya called Chaitanya Bhagavat written by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Like that, there are so many such biographies available. Out of these, the 3 books that I had mentioned are very prominent and popular in those days. But still, Kaviraj Goswami has written another biography of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu in the form of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. Why? Why did he write this? Because the most comprehensive and authentic biography of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu was Chaitanya Bhagavat at that time. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is the author of this Chaitanya Bhagavat, has written the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya very elaborately from beginning. So the Adilila of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, means the initial pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, he elaborated so much, but in this Chaitanya Bhagavata, he could not elaborate the later pastimes of Lord Chaitanya so much. Means the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, after he has accepted sannyasa, were not sufficiently elaborated by Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So several devotees in Vrindavan, they came to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and requested him, can you please elaborate on those pastimes, which Vrindavan Das Thakur also could not elaborate. Then, being a humble servant of all these Vaishnavas, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, just elaborating on those pastimes of Lord Chaitanya that Vrindavan Das Thakur did not elaborate in his book. So that's the background of the compilation of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. We will see more of it when we reach the 8th chapter of Adilila. And this is considered very authentic, Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. By all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this Sri Caitanya-caritamrita is considered one of the foremost authentic biography of Lord Chaitanya. Because it's not only presenting Mahaprabhu's pastimes, it's also presenting the tattva of Lord Chaitanya very elaborately. Now, on this Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, several acharyas have given commentaries. So, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur in the 17th century, it was difficult for him to even find one copy of Caitanya-caritamrita. But somehow, by the blessings of the Lord, he could manage to find one copy of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita written by Kaviraj Goswami, and Bhaktivedanta Thakur himself has written a commentary called Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur has written a commentary on Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, and his commentary is called Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur's son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, has also written a commentary on Sri Caitanya-caritamrita called Anubhashya. And later, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple, Srila Prabhupada, has written his own commentary on Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. He translated Caitanya-caritamrita into English, and he has written his own commentary in English, referring to the two commentaries available, Amrita Pravaha Bhashya and Anubhashya. So, if you see, Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, as it is presented by the BBT, Prabhupada's translation of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, like most of what is available in Prabhupada's commentary is taken from Anubhashya and Amrita Pravaha Bhashya. Prabhupada has translated Sri Caitanya-caritamrita in a very short time, relatively, and he has taken all the main points, commentary points written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Bhaktivedanta Thakur. So now we have seen several biographies of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu available, and we also see Sri Caitanya-caritamrita to be the foremost of these biographies, which is very authentic and comprehensive. And we have also seen that 3 illustrious acharyas have given their commentaries on this Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. So based on all these books, based on all these commentaries, especially Prabhupada's version, Prabhupada's presentation of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita in English language, we will be discussing Sri Caitanya-caritamrita overview in these 18 sessions. So now, before entering our discussion, let's begin with Falashruti. What is the result of hearing Sri Caitanya-caritamrita? You can see in the Adilila, first chapter itself, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes few verses that describe the glory and result of hearing Sri Caitanya-caritamrita with the devotion. He says, Sunile khandibe chittera ajnanadi dosham, Krishne gadha prema habe pai be santosham, Sri Caitanya Nityananda Advaita Mahatva, Tara Bhakta Bhakti Nama Prema Rasa Tattva, Bhinna Bhinna Likiyachi Kariya Vichar, Sunile Janibe Sabha Vastu Tattva Sar. So in these three shlokas, Kaviraj Goswami describes the glory of hearing Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. He says, Sunile khandiba chittera ajnanadi dosha. By hearing Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, whatever ajnana or ignorance that is there in our minds will be completely vanquished. And Krishna Gadha Prema Haibe, and we can also develop deep Krishna Prema. And Paiba Santosha, we can always be blissful, spiritually blissful by hearing Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. And Sri Caitanya Nityananda Advaita Mahatva, we will be able to understand the glories of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and Lord Advaita Acharya, and all their associates. Now, Tara Bhakta Bhakti Nama Prema Rasa Tattva. Tara Bhakti means we will be able to understand the glories of Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakta, we will be able to understand the glories of devotees of the Lord. Nama, we will be able to understand the potency of the holy name of Krishna. And Prema, Rasa Tattva, we can understand the glory of love of Godhead, and Rasa, melos in which one can connect with the Lord. And we will be able to understand all these facts by studying Caitanya Charitamrita. So, further, in the later shlokas, in the Adilila, Kaviraj Goswami says, Sri Caitanya Lilayai Amritera Sindhu Trijagata Bhasaite Pare Yara Ekabindu Caitanya Charitamrita Nitya Karapan Yaha Haite Premananda Bhakti Tattva Gnan. Sri Caitanya Lilayai Amritera Sindhu. Kaviraj Goswami says that this Caitanya Charitamrita is an ocean of nectar. Amritera Sindhu. And Trijagata Bhasaite Pare Yara Ekabindu. So even all the three worlds put together cannot even, actually this whole world can be inundated by one drop of that nectar of Caitanya Charitamrita. It means Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are an ocean of nectar. Even one drop also, if we can relish, that's sufficient for us to attain spiritual bliss. So Caitanya Charitamrita Nitya Karapan, that's why Kaviraj Goswami recommends that we always on a regular basis drink the nectar of Caitanya Charitamrita. Yaha haite Premananda Bhakti Tattva Gnan. So by doing this, we will attain Premananda, we will attain the happiness of Krishna Prema, and Bhakti Tattva Gnan, we will also attain the knowledge of Bhakti. So these are the results of hearing Caitanya Charitamrita sincerely. So that's why Kaviraj Goswami says in the Adilila, Shruyatam Shruyatam Nityam Giyatam Giyatam Mudam Chintyatam Chintyatam Bhaktaha Caitanya Charitamritam. Shruyatam Shruyatam Nityam. Oh my dear devotees, hear Caitanya Charitamrita regularly with your ears. Shruyatam Shruyatam Nityam Giyatam Giyatam Mudam means glorify. You sing, you recite, you speak Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Muda with great happiness. Chintyatam Chintyatam Bhaktaha. So we should not only hear CC Caitanya Charitamrita, we should not only speak Caitanya Charitamrita, Chintyatam, we should contemplate, we should meditate on the teachings of Caitanya Charitamrita. Chintyatam Chintyatam Bhaktaha Caitanya Charitamritam. In this way, Kaviraj Goswami is encouraging all the enthusiastic readers to regularly take shelter of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. And further in the Adilila, Kaviraj Goswami says, Caitanya Charitrayayi Amritera Sindhu Karnamana Triptakare Yara Eka Bindu Bhava Sindhu Taribare Aichayara Chittam Shraddhakari Sunayayi Caitanya Charitra. Caitanya Charitrayayi Amritera Sindhu. So this Caitanya Charitamrita is ocean of nectar. The name itself says Caitanya Charita Amrita. Chaitanya is Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Charita means his narrations. Amrita means its nectar. And Karna Mana Tripta Kare Yara Eka Bindu. Even one drop of Mahaprabhu's pastimes can completely satisfy our Karna and Mana. So Mahaprabhu's pastimes can satisfy our ears with the sweetness of their narrations. And it can completely satisfy our hearts with the meaning of those narrations. So Bhava Sindhu Tari Bare Aicha Yara Chitta. One who dedicates one's mind in hearing Caitanya Charitamrita can easily cross over this Bhava Sindhu, this ocean of material existence. And Shraddhakari Sunayayi Caitanya Charitra. That's why Kaviraj Goswami is recommending that faithfully hear Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, right? So now in this way, Kaviraj Goswami describes several glories of Caitanya-caritamrita. Now you can see that chart. So I had given a simple chart that gives a full bird's eye view of entire Caitanya-caritamrita. So Caitanya-caritamrita, as we discussed, has three parts. One is Adilila, second is Madhyalila, third is Antyalila. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has performed his pastimes on this earth for 48 years. And the first 24 years of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu are called Adilila, or the early pastimes. At the age of 24, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas. Means all the pastimes that Mahaprabhu has performed before his sannyas are called Adilila. And all the pastimes that he has performed after sannyas, the last 24 years, they are called Seshalila. And this Seshalila is further divided into two parts. One is Madhyalila, second is Antyalila. Madhyalila constitutes those pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu that he has performed in the first 6 years of accepting sannyas. Means from his age 24 to 30. And from 30 to 48, last 18 years of his pastimes are in Antyalila. So this is how Mahaprabhu's pastimes are divided into three parts. And let's get into the contents of each of these sections very briefly. Adilila constitutes the first 24 years of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And Adilila of Caitanya Charitamrita has 17 chapters. Out of these 17 chapters, first 7 chapters establish the Tattva of Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, then Panchatattva. And later in 5 chapters, chapter number 8 to 12, we see a figurative description of tree of love of Godhead. And then in the last 5 chapters, we see a super quick summary of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's early pastimes, means the first 24 years of his pastimes. Because Vrindavan Das Thakur has already elaborated on all these early pastimes of Lord Caitanya, Kaviraj Goswami just gives a quick summary of those pastimes in just 5 chapters. So that's the summary of Adilila. Next come to Madhyalila. So Madhyalila has 25 chapters. And these 25 chapters describe the pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu that he has performed in the first 6 years of his sannyas. And in these 6 years, Mahaprabhu traveled extensively throughout India and started preaching the holy name. He began spreading the holy name of Krishna. He induced people to chant the holy names of Krishna. So Mahaprabhu went to South India Yatra for 2 years. And then Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi, Prayaga. Then he went to Vrindavan. So all these travels of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu are described in Madhyalila. And this Madhyalila also presents various discussions that Mahaprabhu had with Ramanand Rai and Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So like that, so many philosophical discussions are presented in Madhyalila, apart from sweet pastimes of Lord Caitanya. And during Mahaprabhu's stay in Jagannath Puri, Mahaprabhu would be participating in Ratha Yatra, Gundicha Marjan, and many other monsoon festivals. And his loving exchanges with all his devotees, they are all presented in Madhyalila. And Antyalila presents the pastimes of Lord Caitanya in the last 18 years. And this Antyalila of Caitanya Charitamrita has very amazing pastimes. They are not in a series actually. So they are like discrete incidents that happened in Mahaprabhu's manifest pastimes. So in these 20 chapters of Antyalila, we see Mahaprabhu's exemplary dealings and Vaishnava etiquettes that he follows while interacting with other devotees. So the pastimes of several devotees of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu and their exemplary characters and dealings are presented in the Antyalila. Apart from that, Mahaprabhu's ecstasy, Mahaprabhu's deep absorption in love of Godhead, all these are presented in Antyalila. So in this way, Kaviraj Goswami very wonderfully explains Sri Caitanya Charitamrita in the 62 chapters that constitutes more than 11,500 shlokas in 2 different languages, right? So now with this prelude, I will begin the first chapter of the first section of Caitanya Charitamrita, Adilila. So today we will target to complete first 3 chapters, and in the next section, in the Thursday's class, in the second session, we will try to complete 4 chapters. So in this way, we will try to complete Adilila in 4 sessions. Then Madhyalila some more sessions, like in 18 sessions we will cover. So now I will give the most essential descriptions of these chapters, because practically in 20-25 minutes we will be covering 1 chapter now. But I will give an overview of the entire chapter and the most essential points to note down and the overall flow of the contents I will be presenting. So Adilila, first chapter, has Mangalacharan, and this Mangalacharan has 14 shlokas. So first 14 shlokas of the first chapter are a part of Mangalacharan, or the auspicious invocation before writing the book, before commencing the book. So that's what is the theme of first 14 shlokas. And these first 14 shlokas of the first chapter of Adilila are explained in 7 chapters of Adilila. So the content of the first 7 chapters of Adilila is nothing but an elaboration of the first 14 shlokas. So Kaviraj Goswami performs Mangalacharan in the beginning of the book, and he explains that Mangalacharan in 7 full chapters. So these 7 chapters constitute very deep philosophy, presenting the truths about Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Acharya, then the whole Pancha Tattva, and in general Guru Tattva, then Shakti Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, all these tattvas we can understand in these 7 chapters. So now first 6 shlokas of this Mangalacharan describe Chaitanya Tattva, and next 5 shlokas describe Nityananda Mahatva, and 2 more shlokas describe Advaita Tattva, and 1 shloka describes Pancha Tattva. So let's go through these 14 shlokas in detail as much as possible, right? And after that, we will elaborate on each of these shlokas in 2 full sessions. So now let's begin with the first shloka. So I hope all of you can see the slide with the first shloka there, Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan. We will recite the shloka, and I will describe the meaning of the shloka, and elaboration of the shloka we will see after describing the meaning of all 14 shlokas. First shloka. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakashamsya Tat Shaktihi Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. So Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, this particular shloka describes the 6 features of the absolute truth. That Supreme Lord Krishna, or Krishna Chaitanya, manifests himself in 6 features. So these 6 features are presented in this shloka. And who are those 6 features? Vande Gurun. First, the Supreme Lord manifests as spiritual masters. That's why the title of the first chapter is Spiritual Masters. Gurun, not just Guru. Guru means one teacher. Gurun means multiple teachers. So the Lord manifests as multiple spiritual teachers, spiritual masters. That is Gurun, first feature. Second, Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, devotees. Devotees are also features of the Lord. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Isham, the Lord himself. Isha Avatarakan, incarnations of the Lord. Tat Prakasham. Prakasha means the manifestations of the Lord. We will see the details. Tat Shaktihi. Shakti means the potencies of the Lord. So these are the 6 features of the absolute truth. Guru, Bhakta, Isha, the Lord himself, Avatara, Prakasha, and Shakti. So these are the 6 features of the absolute truth. And first he offers obeisances to these 6 features. And what are the 6 features? We will elaborately describe after completing the meanings of Mangalacharan. Then second shloka. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandau Sahoditau Gaudodaye Pushpavantau Chitraushamdau Tamo Nudau. So in the first shloka of Mangalacharan, Kaviraj Goswami offered obeisances to all the 6 features of the absolute truth. In the second shloka, Kaviraj Goswami specifically offers obeisances to Gauranga and Nityananda. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandau Sahoditau. I offer my obeisances unto Sri Krishna Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, who are like sun and moon that have arisen together from the horizon of Gaudiya, right, Bengal. So, Gaudodaye Pushpavanto. So, sun and moon, they cannot arise simultaneously, but Gauranga and Nityananda, who are like sun and moon, they rose simultaneously. And they do what? Chitrau. They do wonderful activities. Shamdau, they bestow auspiciousness to all of us. Tamonudau, they subdue all darkness. Then third, so first two shlokas of Caitanya Charitamrita are basically offering obeisances unto the favorite deities, Ishta Devatas. First shloka offering obeisances to all 6 features of the Absolute Truth. Second shloka offering obeisances to Gauranga and Nityananda. Means very specific. So first 2 shlokas put together are called Ishta Deva Namaskara. Namaskar, obeisances. Third shloka describes Vastu Nirdesha. Vastu Nirdesha means defining the objective of the book. An author, before writing the book, he defines the objective of the book. What is the objective of this book? The Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, is the objective of this literature, Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. He says, Yadadvaitam brahmopanishati tadapyasya tanubham ya atmantaryami purusha iti sosyam sa vibhavaham shadaishwaryaha purno yaiha bhagavan sasvayamiti ayam na chaitanyat krishna jagati paratatvam param iha. So yadadvaitam brahmopanishadi tadapyasya tanubha. What great Upanishads described to be Brahma Jyoti is nothing but the effulgence of that Supreme Lord Krishna or Krishna Chaitanya. Second line. Ya atmantaryami purusha iti so asya amsha vibhavaha. The personality who is described as super soul or antaryami or paramatma, who is lying in the hearts of all living beings, is nothing but a partial representation of the Lord. It is the Supreme Lord Krishna who expands himself as Paramatma into everybody's hearts. Then, Shadaishwaryaha Purno Ya Iha Bhagavan Sasvayamayam. And that personality who is described to be having all 6 opulences in full, Shadaishwarya Purna, he is the personality Bhagavan Krishna, and he is the source of Paramatma and Brahman. So basically 3 features of the Absolute Truth are described in this shloka: Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. And Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Krishna, is the source of these 3 features also. So that Supreme Lord, who manifests himself in 3 features as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, is the objective of this book, Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. That's the meaning of this shloka. We will elaborate this shloka a little later. Then, 4th shloka. In the 4th shloka, Kaviraj Goswami describes the reasons for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's descent. So, Mahaprabhu, means Lord Krishna descended as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, like for various reasons. And these reasons can be categorized into 2 categories. One, internal reasons, second, external reasons. External reasons are like secondary reasons that are relevant for people in this material world. Internal reasons are very confidential and very prime reasons. They are like his personal reasons, right? So these external reasons are described in the 4th shloka. Internal reasons are described in the 5th and 6th shlokas. So external reasons are called Bahya Avatara Karan, the external reasons for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's descent. Let us see the shloka. And along with describing the external reasons for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's descent, this 4th shloka of Mangalacharan also presents some blessings to the readers. By reading Caitanya Charitamrita, what blessing we will receive? That we can see. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya avatirnaha kalau samarpayitum unnatodjvala rasam swabhakti shriyam harihi purata sundara dyuti kadamba sandipitaha sada hriday kandare sphuratavaha sachinandanaha. So this shloka says, Anarpita charim chirayat karunaya avatirnaha kalau. That Supreme Lord Krishna, out of his karuna, great compassion, avatirnaha, he incarnated into this world. To do what? Anarpita charim chirat, to offer something that he has not offered since long time. Anarpita. Arpita means offering, anarpita means that which has not been offered. So Krishna descended on this planet as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to offer a special gift to all of us, which he has not offered for a long time. What is that special gift? See, Samarpayitum Unnata Ujjvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam. He is going to offer his own bhakti. He is going to offer Krishna bhakti to all of us. Krishna comes as a bhakta to offer Krishna bhakti to all of us. And specifically, what kind of bhakti? Ujjvala Rasam. It's the most resplendent and shining, effulgent rasa called Madhurya Rasa. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to give prema bhakti in general. But he specifically came to give bhakti, that which is rendered by the gopis of Vrindavan in a conjugal mood. So he came to offer to all of us Vraja Prema, means the love that the residents of Vrindavan had for Krishna. That's what he is going to offer, Vraja Prema, especially conjugal Prema, Madhuri Bhakti. Right? Then Harihi Purata Sundara Kadamba Jyuti Sandipitaha Sada Hridaya Kandare Sphuratavaha Sachinandanaha. Let that Supreme Lord Hari always manifest in the innermost chambers of our hearts. That's a blessing given. So basically, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu has come to this planet to bestow Krishna Prema to all of us, and that too Vraja Prema. So Krishna Prema, which is exhibited by the residents of Vrindavan, that too the gopis of Vrindavan. So that's what Krishna is coming to this world to offer to all of us. So that's fourth shloka. Then fifth shloka. So fifth and sixth shlokas, they offer, they present the internal, prime, confidential reasons for Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's descent. So actually sixth shloka describes those reasons, but fifth shloka describes a very important thing about Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's tattva. Who is Lord Caitanya? Let's describe. Fifth shloka says, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriter Haladini Shakti Rasmad Ekatma Nav Api Bhavipura Deha Bhedau Gatau Chaitanyakhyam Prakata Madhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhavadyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. This is such a nectarian shloka that describes Gaura Tattva or Chaitanya Tattva. So the shloka says, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriter Haladini Shakti Rasmad. All the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are transformations of Krishna's innermost spiritual energy. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Haladini Shakti Rasmat. So we will discuss about Krishna's Shaktis little later. But at this stage, let's understand that Krishna has spiritual energy apart from his material energy. And the innermost confidential part of that spiritual energy is Haladini Shakti that gives bliss to even Krishna. And all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are manifestations of this Haladini Shakti, the pleasure potency of Krishna. And Ekatmana api bhuvipura deha bhedau gatau. This Radha and Krishna who are enjoying pleasure pastimes are one Ekatmana, but api bhuvipura deha bhedau gatau. But they have separated themselves. They have manifested in two forms. When? We don't know. Api bhuvipura, we don't know the t equal to 0. When did they manifest in two forms? We can't trace out. So they are one in their identity, but they have manifested themselves as two personalities, one male and one female, to have very pleasure pastimes, spiritual pastimes. And Chaitanyakhyam prakata madhuna tadvayam chaityamaptam. In the form of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, these two personalities, Radha and Krishna, again have become one. They were one, they became two. And these two again became one in the form of Lord Caitanya. And how did this exactly happen? Radha bhavadyuti suvalitam naumi Krishna swarupam. Radha bhava means the emotions of Radharani. Radha Dyuti means the complexion of Radharani. So Krishna has stolen the emotions and complexion of Radharani and became Lord Chaitanya. Radha Bhavadyuti Subalitam Naomi Krishna Swarupam. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna Swarupa. He is directly Krishna himself, but in the mood of Radharani, with the complexion of Radharani. The color and the emotions of Radharani are accepted by Krishna. How is it possible? How can I adopt someone else's mood? So one may have this doubt, right? Yeah, if you empathize with another person, you may put yourself in the shoes of other person and then try to empathize with that person and try to get into other person's mood for a few minutes. Or if you are enacting a drama, okay, then you may try to imbibe the finer nuances of the character that you are playing, and then you may get into that mood. But how long? Can one person completely adopt the moods of another person? Completely? And not just that, Krishna has adopted the mood of Radharani, that's at one level. And Krishna started feeling separation from his own self in the mood of Radharani. Okay? Krishna has completely adopted the mood of Radharani. It's not that he's doing a drama. He's hankering to take the emotions of Radharani. And he wanted to experience the great pleasure that Radharani is experiencing while she's loving Krishna, while she's in separation from Krishna. So in the mood of Radharani, Krishna started feeling separation from his own self. How is it possible? One may get bored with oneself, but here Krishna is trying to feel separation from his own self in the mood of Radharani. So that's inconceivable. Unless we accept the inconceivable energy of the Supreme Lord Krishna, we cannot understand Gaura Tattva. I am just giving a prelude now. So we will elaborately describe this shloka tomorrow. This shloka and the next shloka. So this shloka just describes the Gaura Tattva. Who is Gauranga? Who is Chaitanya? Chaitanya is none other than Krishna, but in the mood and in the complexion of Radharani. He has given up his blackish color. He has accepted a golden color. He has given up his mood as the master, controller, proprietor, enjoyer, creator, maintainer, destroyer, and he has adopted the mood of a devotee, a humble devotee, the topmost devotee, Radharani. So now, the sixth shloka describes the three main reasons why Krishna has to adopt the mood of Radharani. First, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva Swadhyo Yenad Bhutamadhurima Kidrisho Vamadiyah Saukhyam Chasya Madanubhavataha Kidrisham Veti Lobhat Tadbhavadhyah Samajanishachi Garbhasindhau Harinduhu. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva. What is the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love? I want to understand her Pranaya Mahima, the greatness of her love. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva. Remember, this is the first reason. Krishna, although he is the Supreme Lord, he had three unfulfilled desires. First was, he could not understand the greatness of Radharani's love. He wanted to understand. That was his first unfulfilled desire. Second, he says, Swadhyo yenad bhutamadhurima kidrisho vamadiyah. So when Radharani experiences Krishna's sweetness, means sometimes Radharani, when she sees Krishna, she experiences pleasure. When she hears Krishna playing flute, she experiences pleasure. When she sees Krishna walking, then she becomes very happy. When she experiences the touch of Krishna, she becomes so ecstatic. So Krishna's mere presence and his personality is giving unlimited pleasure to Radharani. So what is there in Krishna that's exciting Radharani so much? Krishna is very much curious to understand it. Swadhyo yenad bhutamadhurima kidrisho vamadiyah. What is that madhurima? What is that sweetness in me that is attracting Radharani so much? Krishna wanted to understand his own sweetness, the extent of his own sweetness. That is the second reason. And the third reason was that Saukyam chasya madanubhavatah kidrisham veti lobhat. What is the saukhya? What is the happiness or pleasure that Radharani is experiencing while she is tasting my sweetness? That is the third reason. Now you may think that second and third reason are looking same. Second reason is, what is the extent of Krishna's sweetness that gives pleasure to Radharani? Third reason is, what is the extent of Radharani's happiness while experiencing Krishna's sweetness? They may seem same, but there is slight difference in it. For example, you like gulab jamun. Gulab jamun is so tasty. Why gulab jamun is so tasty? Okay, means how is it made? What is its texture? What is its consistency? How much is soft? How much it is dipped in sugar syrup? Is the sugar syrup moderately sweet or too much sweet? Okay. So there are hundreds of factors that may decide why gulab jamun is so tasty. That's one. That is second reason. Now why gulab jamun is so tasty is the second reason. When you are eating that gulab jamun, how much are you enjoying? So that is the third reason. Now it's not that gulab jamun may be very tasty, but it's not necessary that everybody who tastes that gulab jamun experiences the same amount of pleasure. Somebody who may have diabetes, he may not be able to eat gulab jamun. Somebody who has more taste for some spicy items, he may not like sweets so much. He cannot relish gulab jamun. Or somebody may like sweets, but gulab jamun is not his favorite. Something else, rasmalai is his favorite, som papdi is his favorite. He cannot relish. So, not everybody can relish this gulab jamun to the greatest possible extent. There are some gulab jamun lovers, they can experience the taste of gulab jamun so much. Similarly, Krishna is sweet, no doubt about it. But everybody cannot experience Krishna's sweetness. When Krishna manifested in this earthly planet, there are some devotees like Vrajavasis and Pandavas, they all appreciated Krishna, Krishna's godhood and Krishna's sweetness, Krishna's qualities. But there were people like Kamsa, Jarasandha, Shishupala, then Duryodhan. All these people could not appreciate Krishna so much. Although Krishna is great, Krishna is God, Krishna is sweet. But the people who are coming in contact with Krishna should have certain purity, should have certain devotion and love for Krishna to relish Krishna's sweetness. So, amongst all the devotees who can relish Krishna's sweetness, Srimati Radharani is the topmost devotee who relishes Krishna's sweetness to the maximum possible extent. While this topmost devotee Radharani is relishing Krishna's sweetness, what is her experience? I also want to experience that. Although Radharani is rendering service to Krishna, Krishna is definitely becoming happy receiving that service, but Radharani's happiness is 10 million times greater than Krishna's happiness. Radharani's happiness in serving Krishna is 10 million times greater than Krishna's happiness in receiving that service. So Krishna is intrigued. My God, I want to understand, I want to experience that happiness. That's the third reason. So to summarize, the internal or confidential reasons for Krishna's descent as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu are threefold. One, he wanted to understand the greatness of Radharani's love. Second, he wanted to understand the extent of his own sweetness. Third, he wanted to actually experience the pleasure of Radharani when she is serving Krishna. So, with these three unfulfilled desires that Krishna manifested as Lord Caitanya, Tadbhavadhyah samajanishachi garbhasindhau harinduhu. Tadbhavadhyah, that Lord Krishna has accepted the bhava of Radharani. Sachi garbhasindhau harinduhu, he entered the garbha of Sachi Mata and he appeared from there. So harinduhu garbhasindhau. Garbha means the stomach of Sachi Mata is compared to Sindhu in ocean. And this Hari, Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, is compared to moon. Just like moon appears from ocean, Lord Caitanya appeared from Sachi Mata's womb. So that's the meaning of this shloka. So we completed 6 shlokas so far. So in these first 6 shlokas of Mangalacharan, the first 2 shlokas are offering obeisances to Ishta Devatas, offering obeisances to the 6 features of the absolute truth, and Gauranga and Nityananda in specific. And the third shloka described the external reason, third shloka described the Vastu Nirdesha, or the objective of this book. That is Lord Krishna, who manifests himself in 3 forms, and that Krishna comes as Lord Chaitanya. Then fourth shloka described the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's descent. Fifth shloka described Gaura Tattva, his identity, Mahaprabhu's identity. And sixth shloka described the 3 internal reasons for Lord Chaitanya's descent. So these 6 shlokas put together is called Caitanya Tattva. And the next 5 shlokas describe Nityananda Mahatva. What is the glory of Nityananda Prabhu? So now I will not be reciting all these shlokas, but I will give a summary of these 5 shlokas, Nityananda Tattva. So Nityananda Prabhu is non-different from Balaramji. Just like Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu appeared as, Balaramji appeared as Nityananda Prabhu. So that Nityananda Prabhu or Nityananda Balaram manifests in 5 forms to serve Lord Krishna. And what are these 5 forms? One is Sankarshana. Means in the spiritual world, there are 4 forms of the Lord called Chaturvyuha. They are Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. In that there is, Sankarshana is a manifestation of Balaram. Of course, all 4 are manifestations of Balaram, but specifically Sankarshana is highlighted here. So he manifests, Balaramji manifests as Sankarshana. That is first form. Second, he manifests as Karanodaka Sai Vishnu. Means that Vishnu, who is also called Mahavishnu, who lies on the causal ocean. And from his bodily pores, millions of Brahmandas or universes appear. And he is the source of all these material universes. That is the second form of the Lord. And the third form is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. This Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu or Mahavishnu expands himself as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu and enters each and every universe. There is only one Mahavishnu, but there are millions of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnus, as many as the number of universes. So that is the third form. And the fourth form is Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. Means that Vishnu who lies on the milk ocean and who expands himself as super soul within all the living beings. And in fact, all the atoms. Now you see these 3 Vishnus, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and Karanodaka Sai Vishnu. These 3 Vishnus are called Purushavatas or super souls, Paramatmas. Mahavishnu or Karanodaka Sai Vishnu is the super soul of entire material creation. And Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is the super soul of one individual universe. And Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is the super soul of individual living entities. So that's how there are 3 super souls. So that's like one set of incarnations called Purushavatas. All of them came from Nityananda Balaram to serve the Supreme Lord Krishna. And the 5th form, so first is Sankarshana, the next 3 forms are the 3 Purushavatas, and the last form is called Sesha or Seshanaga. So he is also an expansion of the Lord who becomes the Lord's bed to serve Krishna in various ways. So these are the 5 forms in which the Supreme Lord Balaramji or Nityananda Balaram manifests to serve the Lord. So that is about Nityananda Tattva or Nityananda Mahatva. He is the source of 5 forms. Next, that completes 5 shlokas. From 7th shloka to 11th shloka of Mangalacharan describe these 5 forms of the Lord. Then 12th and 13th shlokas of Mangalacharan describe Advaita Tattva. Who is Advaita Acharya? 12th shloka says that Advaita Acharya is an incarnation of Mahavishnu. And 13th shloka says, Advaitam Harina Advaitat Acharyam Bhakti Shamshanat Bhaktavataramisham Tam Advaita Acharyam Ashraye. Advaitam Harina Advaitat. This Advaita Acharya is not different from Lord Hari. That's why he is called Advaita. Advaitam Harina Advaitat. He is not different from Hari. That's why he is called Advaita. Acharyam Bhakti Shamshanat. He is called Acharya because he propounds Bhakti Yoga. He teaches Bhakti to all of us. His main job is to expand the teachings of Bhakti. So Bhaktavatara Vishamtam, that's why he is called Bhaktavatara. So he is an incarnation of the Lord, but playing the role of a devotee. Bhaktavataram. Isham, although he is Isha, Lord, but still he is an incarnation as a devotee. Advaita Acharya Mashriye. I take shelter of that Advaita Acharya. So that is Advaita Tattva. Then the last shloka of Mangalacharan, that is offering obeisances to Panchatattva, all 5 tattvas. Who are the Panchatattva's? Sri Krishna Caitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhara, Srivasa, the Gaura Bhaktavrinda, Srivasa. These are the 5 manifestations of Krishna. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam. Krishna manifests in 5 features. One is Bhakta Rupa, in the form of a devotee, Lord Chaitanya. Bhakta Rupam. Swarupakam means the manifestation as a devotee, Nityananda Prabhu. Bhaktavataram means incarnation. An incarnation of the Lord in the form of a devotee, that is Advaita Acharya. Then Bhaktakhyam, known as a devotee, Srivas Thakur. Bhakta Shaktikam, the energy as a devotee, energy of a devotee, that is Gadadhar Pandit. So in these 5 features, the Lord manifests, Krishna manifests. So that is Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam. So Krishna only manifests in all these features. So the energy of the Lord is represented by Gadadhar Pandit, and the devotees of the Lord are represented by Srivas Thakur. And the Lord himself manifests in the form of a devotee, Bhakta Rupa, but that is Mahaprabhu. And that expansion of that devotee form of the Lord, that is Nityananda Prabhu. And incarnation is Advaita Acharya. So what is the difference between expansion and incarnation? We will see when we come to that shloka. So far I have only presented the meanings of the first 14 shlokas of Caitanya-caritamrita. So these first 14 shlokas are called Mangalacharan. In this Mangalacharan, first 6 shlokas are describing Chaitanya Tattva. Next 5 shlokas are describing Nityananda Tattva. Next 2 shlokas are describing Advaita Tattva. Last shloka described Panchatattva. So that is the 14 shlokas of Mangalacharan. And these 14 shlokas are described in 7 full chapters of Adilila. And today we will try to cover first 3 chapters as much as possible. So after offering obeisances, of course the elaborate explanation that I have given in this Mangalacharan will help in our main discussion in the chapters. Okay. So after offering this Mangalacharan, these 14 shlokas, Kaviraj Goswami also offers obeisances to the 3 principal deities of Vrindavan. So they are our Sambandha Vigraha and Abhideya Vigraha and Prayojana Vigraha. They are our Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath and Radha Govindji and Radha Madan Mohan. So first he offers obeisances to Sambandha deity Radha Madan Mohan. Jayatam suratau pangor mama mandamater gati mat sarvasva padam bhojo Radha Madana Mohanau. Jayatam suratau pango mama mandamater gati. So that Radha Madan Mohan are the real objects of my life, and they are my goal. Their lotus feet of Radha Madan Mohan are my goal. Right? Mat sarvasva padam bhojo Radha Madana Mohanau. So next, Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadramadaha, Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasthau, Srimad Radha, Srila Govinda Devo Preshta Labhissevyamano Smarami. Radha Govinda Dev, our Abhideya deity, like Radha Govinda Dev are being served by their very intimate associates, Priya Narma Sakhis, on a jeweled throne under one great tree, desire tree in Vrindavan Dham. So that is the meaning of this shloka. And then finally, Sriman Rasarasarambhi Vamsi Vatatatastithah Karshan Venusvaner Gopir Gopi Natha Shriyastunaha. So in this shloka, Kaviraj Goswami offers obeisances to our Radha Gopinath deity, who plays flute and enchants all the gopis of Vrindavan, so that the gopis can come under the Vamsi Vata, come to Vamsi Vata and then have rasa dance with him. So that is the Prayojana deity, so Radha Gopinath. So after offering obeisances to all these three principal deities of Vrindavan, Kaviraj Goswami, being such a humble author, he offers obeisances to even the readers of Caitanya-caritamrita. Whoever is reading Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, being eager and inquisitive to know the pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he is such a glorious personality, and I take the dust of their lotus feet on my head. I offer my respectful obeisances to all those devotees, and I worship them. This is the humble mood of this Vaishnava author Kaviraj Goswami. So after this, Kaviraj Goswami begins to explain these 14 shlokas of Mangalacharan. So he first begins to explain the first shloka. First shloka, I'll recite again. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakashamsya Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan. So this shloka describes 6 diversities of the absolute truth. And first is Guru, second Bhakta, third Isha, 4 Isha Avatara, 5th Prakasha, 6th Shakti. Okay, let's go through these 6 items one by one. First, Gurus. He did not say Guru, he said Gurun, plural number. Multiple Gurus. Actually, Gurus are 2 types. One is Diksha Guru, second is Siksha Guru. Diksha Guru is the initiating spiritual master who gives us mantra. And Siksha Guru is instructing spiritual master who gives us various instructions and guidance in the practice of devotional service. So there are 2 types of Gurus. So now, Kaviraj Goswami explains these 2 types of Gurus. So, Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanya Radas Tathapi Janiye Ami Tahara Prakash. Our Kaviraj Goswami says, although Guru is Chaitanya Das, Guru is also a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Still, Tathapi Janiye Ami Tahara Prakash. Still, I consider that Guru is just a manifestation of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Guru considers himself as a servant of the Supreme Lord. But disciple should consider Guru as a manifestation of the Supreme Lord and render service to Guru as much as one worships the Supreme Lord himself. That's the meaning of this shloka. So we have to respect Guru, either Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru, just like we worship the Supreme Lord. Because Siksha Gurus or Diksha Gurus are manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Right? Guru Krishna Rupahana Shastrera Pramani Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gani. So Guru Krishna Rupahana Shastrera Pramani. So Guru is a manifestation of Krishna, and Shastra says this. Krishna directly says in the Uddhava Gita in Srimad Bhagavatam that Acharyam Mam Vijaneyam. Please understand, my dear Uddhava, Acharya is not different from me. I am the Acharya. So Krishna says that. So Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gani. In the form of Guru, Krishna manifests his mercy upon all the devotees. So that's the glory of Guru. And that Guru is Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master, and Siksha Guru, who is instructing spiritual master also. Diksha Guru, we understand, he gives mantra. He gives spiritual initiation to a disciple. And what is Siksha Guru? Siksha Gurus again are of 2 types. One is Antaryami, second is Bhakta Shrestha. Antaryami means super soul. Super soul also acts as our Siksha Guru. Bhakta Shrestha means a great devotee, exalted devotee can also act as our instructing spiritual master or Siksha Guru. So Siksha Gurus are of 2 types. One is super soul, second is a great devotee. And Diksha Guru is only one. Only one type and only one. Okay, who gives initiation to the disciple. So Siksha Guru ke tajani Krishna Swarupa. Even Siksha Guru is also Krishna Swarupa. Is also manifestation of Lord Krishna. So Antaryami Bhakta Sreshta Ei Rupa. That is about Guru Tattva. In this context, Kaviraj Goswami also described how the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself has personally manifested as Guru of Brahma in the beginning of creation. In the beginning of creation, Brahma alone existed, and no one else was there. Who can act as his guru? The Supreme Lord himself acted as his guru, and he taught him Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And later Brahma taught this Bhagavatam to Narada Muni. Narada taught this to Vyasadev. Vyasadev taught this to Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami taught that Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So it's expanded and propagated through this Guru Sishya Parampara. But the original Guru of the first created being Brahma is the Supreme Lord himself, is the Guru. In this context, Kaviraj Goswami quotes the 4 shlokas of Chatushloki Bhagavatam and slightly explains them also. Next, that is about Guru Tattva. So we are discussing the first shloka of Caitanya-caritamrita, and this first shloka describes 6 features of the absolute truth, and the first feature is Guru. We discussed about Guru. Second feature is Bhakta. Bhakta means devotees. So the glory of the association of devotees is elaborately described in various sections of our scriptures, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayanaha kathaha. So devotee association is so glorious and uplifting our consciousness. So devotees are great. And what is Bhakta Tattva? Let's elaborate. Ishvara Swarupa Bhakta Tara Adhishtan Bhaktera Hridaye Krishnera Satata Vishram. Ishvara Swarupa Bhakta, devotee, is also a manifestation of Ishvara. Is also a feature of the absolute truth. We need to respect devotees also. So Krishna is happy when you worship him. Krishna is more happy when you worship his devotees. Because Krishna considers his devotees more important than himself. Right? So that's why we need to respect all the devotees. Ishvara Swarupa Bhakta Tara Adhishtan. So devotees are also Ishvara Swarupa because Krishna stays within their hearts. Okay. And Bhaktera Hridaya Krishnera Satata Vishram. In the hearts of all devotees, Krishna is constantly residing. He likes to be captivated there. Not just a super soul. Of course, Krishna stays in the hearts of every single living entity, whether devotee or non-devotee, or a human being or an animal. Krishna stays in everybody's heart. In fact, Krishna stays in non-living beings also, in every atom also. Now you see, Krishna stays within, say, this body. There is Atma, there is Paramatma. Okay? Within the hearts of all living beings, Krishna is there. Say, Krishna stays in non-living beings also. For example, you see a sugar particle. In that there is no Atma, but there is Paramatma. Only because of the presence of Paramatma in that sugar particle, we experience sweetness by putting that sugar particle on our tongue. Right? Without Paramatma's presence, even non-living entities, non-living particles also cannot have their properties. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashishuryayo. Water is a material element. But when we drink water, water has some taste. It quenches our thirst. Why? Because Krishna is the taste of water. So Krishna is the active principle of everything. So Krishna, as the super soul, he stays within everybody. Now, Bhaktera Hridaye Krishnera Satata Vishram means we should not underestimate this statement. Krishna is there in everything. Krishna is there in the heart of a non-devotee, a devotee also. In the heart of a living entity and in the non-living beings also, non-living entities also. What is so big deal? What a big deal about it? No. Krishna does not stay in the capacity of Paramatma in the heart of a devotee. He stays in the heart of a devotee in the capacity of Bhagavan. Paramatma is like Xerox copy. Krishna, Bhagavan is the original copy. So you may take your certificate, your university certificate you take, it's original, colorful, right, with stamp and seal of the university and all that. That's original copy, it's only one. You may take 100 Xeroxes. Similarly, Paramatma, so many Paramatmas may come out. But all the Xerox copies cannot equal that original copy. Even if you take color Xerox also, original is original with all the stamp and seal. So Krishna stays in the heart of a devotee in the capacity of Bhagavan, not just Paramatma. He gives personal guidance. He just does not stay like Upadrishta, Anumanta, or the source of forgetfulness, remembrance, not just like that. He becomes more personal with a devotee as Bhagavan. So devotees are so glorious, they carry the Lord within their hearts. And They are manifestations of the Lord. And they are of two types. One is Parishat, second is Sadhakas. Parishat means personal associates of the Lord, very intimate associates of the Lord. Sadhaka means practicing devotees. While Parishat is perfect, Sadhaka is not yet perfect, but he is endeavoring for perfection. They are also devotees. Potentially, they are also pure devotees. By continuing their practice of bhakti, they will also become pure devotees. So that is second type. So first, there are two types of devotees. So we discussed about two features. Guru Tattva we discussed, Bhakta Tattva we discussed. Then third is Avatara Tattva. So avataras or incarnations of the Lord are three categories. There are multiple categories and you can categorize the Lord's incarnations in various ways. But in one sense, we can categorize Krishna's incarnations in three major categories. One, Amshavataras, two, Gunavataras, three, Shaktyaveshavataras. Amshavataras are partial incarnations. So in these Amshavataras, Purushavasaras, Leelavataras, all of them will come. There are Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, they are all Amshavataras. They partially manifest the Lord's potencies. Then Gunavataras are qualitative incarnations. So they are Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. So they manifest for creating this world, destroying this world, maintaining this world. Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. And third category are Shaktyaveshavataras. They are empowered incarnations. So they are four Kumaras and Pruthu Maharaj, Vyasadev. So they are all different incarnations. So now we have discussed three. First Guru Tattva, then Bhakta Tattva, then Avatara Tattva. Now let's discuss about Prakasha Tattva, expansions of the Lord. So expansions of the Lord are also of two categories. They are Prakasha Vigrahas and Vilasa Vigrahas. So Prakasha Vigraha, Vilasa Vigraha. So Prakasha is the main category, even the subcategory also called Prakasha Vigraha. We will learn more of these expansions in the 20th chapter of Madhyalila when Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu gives his teachings to Sanatana Goswami. Now only a little explanation is given. So Prakasha Vigrahas are numerous expansions of the Lord, all with similar emotions and similar bodily features. For example, in Rasalila, Krishna expanded himself into as many number of gopis are there and he danced with all of them. They are all Prakasha Vigrahas. And in Dwaraka, Krishna expands himself into 16,108 forms to stay with 16,108 queens in 16,108 palaces. They are all Prakasha Vigrahas. Then there are Vilasa Vigrahas. They are also numerous expansions of the Lord, but little different in their physical features and even in emotions. So they are Balaramji, then Narayana, Chaturviha. They are also equally potent like the Lord, but they have different physical features and they have different emotions also. While Krishna is like enjoyer, Balaramji comes like a servant. Then fourth feature of the absolute truth, Shakti Tattva. Shakti Tattvas are of three kinds. One Lakshmi Gana, second Mahishi Gana, third Gopi Gana. So Gopi Gana means all the damsels of Vrindavan. Mahishi Gana means all the queens of Dwaraka. And Lakshmi Gana means all the goddesses of fortune in Vaikuntha. So these are the three categories of Shaktis of the Lord. Then, so that completes explanation of the first shloka. So first shloka is Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Isha Avatarakan Tat Prakashamsya Tat Shaktihi Krishna Caitanya Sanyakam. So we have seen the six features of the absolute truth in this shloka. Guru Tattva. Gurus are of two types, Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru. And Siksha Guru is of two types, Antaryami and Bhakta Shrestha. Then Isha Bhaktan. We have seen about the devotees of the Lord and they are of two types, Parishats and Sadhakas. Then Isham, the Lord himself, of course. Avatarakan. Avataras also we have seen three categories. Then Amshavataras, then Gunavataras and Shaktyaveshavataras. Then Prakasha, we have seen two types, Prakasha Vigraha, Vilasa Vigraha. Then Shakti, we have seen three types of Shaktis, Lakshmi Gana, Gopi Gana, Mahishi Gana. So that completes explanation of the first shloka. So the Supreme Lord manifests in these six features. So now I'll enter the second shloka. Second shloka is Vande Sri Krishna Caitanya Nityanandau Sahoditau Gaudodaye Pushpavantau Chitrausham Dautamo Nudau. So this is offering obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. They both have appeared together in the horizon of Gauranga Darshan. And three parts of the third line have to be described elaborately. So Gaudodaya Pushpavanta means they appeared in the horizon of Gauda. And it's wonderful because they are compared to sun and moon. You can't see sun and moon together in the sky. Maybe in the evening time or early in the morning, you may see sun and moon together, but not at one place. Sun is in east and moon is in the west. Or sun is in the west and moon is in the east. That too, they are faintly seen. And within few moments, only one is seen, other disappears. So, but here sun and moon, Gauranga and Nityananda appeared together from one horizon. That is wonderful. Chitrau. Shandau. They also bestow auspiciousness upon all of us. So, and Tamonado means they destroy all ignorance. Now you see, Tamo means darkness literally. But here Tama is ignorance. Tamonado means Gauranga and Nityananda, this sun and moon, suppress the darkness. Now while the ordinary sun and moon, material sun and moon, destroy the darkness and reveal different objects in this world, this spiritual sun and moon, Nityananda and Gauranga, they destroy the material darkness in our hearts, they destroy the darkness of ignorance in our hearts, and they reveal spiritual knowledge, right? So that's about Tamonudau. And that ignorance is of multiple types. One is Kaitava. So ignorance is characterized by Kaitava Dharma. So in this context, Kaviraj Goswami also quotes Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam. So basically we perform the Dharma. In this material world, many people perform Dharma to get some Artha, money. And they use Artha in Kama to fulfill their sense gratificatory desires. And when they are frustrated in their Kama, they think of Moksha. That is impersonal liberation. So this is a materially motivated practice of religion. So that kind of cheating religion is a part of Tama, ignorance. That is destroyed. And the real practice of religion is spoken by the Supreme Lord, revealed by Gauranga and Nityananda. So next is Shubha Shubha Karma. Shubha Karma means auspicious activities. Ashubha Karmas means inauspicious activities. So on a material plane, people may perform auspicious or inauspicious activities, but both are material only ultimately. So getting caught up in what is pious work, what is impious work, what is pious activity, what is sinful activity. So people just continue to stay on the material plane only. So one has to transcend. Whether somebody is traveling in an AC compartment or general compartment, he is in the train only. He will reach a destination at the same time. He is not in flight to reach faster. So although a person is in the AC compartment, he reaches the destination at the same time. So Shubha Karma is definitely better than Ashubha Karma, but both are karmas only on a material plane. Instead of getting caught up in things that are materially good or materially bad, let's transcend this matter itself and then do some spiritually auspicious activity. And we can do it by the grace of Nityananda and Gauranga. So that is also Tamonudam. Shandau, they bestow auspiciousness. How? They bestow auspiciousness in two ways. Duyi Bhagavata Dwara Diya Bhakti Rasa Tahara Hridaye Tara Prema Hayavasha. So through two Bhagavatas, book Bhagavat and person Bhagavata, Gauranga and Nityananda cause great auspiciousness to all of us, right? So, and when the devotees become, when the devotees practice Bhakti Yoga and they become lovers of Krishna, this Gauranga and Nityananda love to be captivated within their hearts. So in this way, they cause auspiciousness to all of us. Shamdau. We have seen Tamonudau, we have seen Shamdau. So, and wonders, of course. Wonder means Chitrau. That is two wonders. One is they are not destroying darkness, but they are destroying the darkness of ignorance in the hearts. Internal darkness, not external darkness. Second, sun and moon are appearing simultaneously, not at different times. So these are the two wonders. So we have completed an explanation of second shloka also. So that completes first chapter only. So mitam cha saram cha vacho hi vagmita. Having described so elaborately these two shlokas, Kaviraj Goswami says, I am only eloquently presenting. Mitam cha saram cha vacho hi vagmita. Means essential truth spoken concisely is called eloquence. Kaviraj Goswami says, I can elaborate these concepts unlimitedly, but I have limited my explanation to these many words only, these many shlokas only, because I need to be eloquent. I'm already old. I have to complete this book before I depart. So with that mentality, with that mood, Kaviraj Goswami presented things very concisely. We are concising it even more. Right? So we completed first chapter. I will only try to complete second chapter in today's session. I'm sorry, I could not enter third chapter because we had spent sufficient time in giving a prelude to Caitanya-caritamrita and discussing an overall overview of Caitanya-caritamrita and also the first 14 shlokas. So I'll try to complete second chapter now. Sri Caitanya Prabhum Vande Balopi Yadanugrahat Tarenna Namatagraha Vyaptim Siddhanta Sagaram. So by the mercy of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Bala, even a small child also, can cross over various scriptural conclusions, which are like Tare Nana Matagraha Vyaptim Siddhanta Sagaram. So in the Siddhanta Sagara, in this philosophical ocean of philosophical truths, there are so many crocodiles of misinterpretations and then unnecessary philosophies. One can cross over all that and get the right kind of philosophy by the mercy of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, a nectarian shloka comes. Krishnot kirtana gana nartana kala pathojani bhrajita sadbhakta vali hamsa chakra madhupa shreni viharaspadam karnanandikaladhvanirvahatu me jihva maruprangane Sri Caitanya dayanidhe tavalasat leela sudha svardhuni Krishna utkirtana gana nartana kala pathojani bhrajita. All the fine arts of glorifying Krishna. Utkirtana means loud chanting, singing Krishna's names, Nama, Rupa, Gunalila. Krishnot-kirtana, Gana, Nartana, Kala, Pathojani Bhrajita. So all these are like special lotuses that are appearing in the river of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's Katha. Now you see, all these fine arts of chanting, dancing, they are compared with lotuses. Next. Sadbhakta vali hamsa chakra madhupa shreni viharaspadam. All the devotees are compared to hamsa chakra madhupa. They are like mode of goodness birds, like swans and chakravaka birds. So such birds are compared with devotees. Then Karnanandikaladhvanirvahatu me jihva maruprangane. When the devotees of these birds are playing within the lotus stems of this hearing and chanting, that is causing a great happiness to the ears. And where are they happily playing like this? In the river of Krishna Katha. Sri Caitanya dayanidhe tavalasat leela sudha svardhuni. So Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are compared to a nectarian river. Hearing and chanting and glorifying and dancing, they are compared to the lotus stems. And all the devotees of the Lord are compared to the swans and other water birds that are enjoying in this river in the midst of lotus stems. Let that nectarian river of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes flow from my desert-like tongue. That's the meaning of the shloka. Very poetically, Kaviraj Goswami describes. Then, in this chapter, Kaviraj Goswami explains the meaning of the third shloka of Mangalacharan. Yadadvaitam brahmopanishadi tadapyasya tanubha ya atmantaryami purusha iti so asyam sa vibhavaha shadaishvarya hi purno ya iha bhagavan sasvayamayam na chaitanyat Krishna jagati paratattvam param iha. So in this chapter, in this shloka, the three features of the absolute truth are described. I already described the meaning of this shloka in the beginning of our presentation. So basically the shloka says, first line says, what is said to be Brahmajyoti is the effulgence of Krishna's body. The person who is said to be said to be a super soul in everybody's heart is an expansion of Krishna, and that Krishna is Bhagavan himself, who is Shadaishwarya Purna. So, and that is Krishna, and that Krishna comes as Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And that Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the objective of Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. That's the meaning of this shloka. Now, Kaviraj Goswami describes this shloka a little more elaborately by quoting 4 shlokas from Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, first shloka that he quotes was, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Vadanti tat tattva vidah tattvam yajnanamadvayam. So, seers of truth, knowers of truth, describe that the Supreme Lord has 3 features. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shakti. 3 features. Now, we can approach Brahman through Jnana process. And we can approach Paramatma through Yoga process. And we can approach Bhagavan through Bhakti process. But out of these 3, Brahman realization is partial. Paramatma realization is also partial. But Bhagavan realization is complete. So, seeing the effulgence of the sun is like Brahman realization. You are not seeing the person. So, now you are seeing the sun globe or sunshine everywhere. That is like Brahman realization. But the personality, there is a person, sun god. He also has hands and legs and eyes and face and ears and some decorations. You are unable to see that person. So, seeing that person or meeting that person is Bhagavan realization, while just being satisfied with sunshine is Brahman realization. With this example, we can understand the completeness of Bhagavan realization and partialness of Brahman realization. And even Paramatma also is just a partial expansion of Lord Govinda. So, sun reflects in countless jewels. Similarly, Govinda manifests as Paramatma in the hearts of all living beings. Now you see there are so many jewels. You can put it in sunlight, or you have 10 pots filled with water. Sun reflects in each pot, and in each pot you can see a sun. Similarly, in each heart you can see Paramatma. But the source of all these Paramatmas is Krishna. He is complete person, right? So that's how Paramatma and Brahman have their source in Bhagavan. Paramatma is a partial expansion of Bhagavan, and Brahman is just the bodily effulgence of Bhagavan. That is described in this shloka. And there are a few more details also. So that's the first shloka quoted by Kaviraj Goswami. And the second Bhagavatam shloka quoted by Kaviraj Goswami to explain this third shloka of Mangalacharan is that comes in the Brahma Vimohana Leela. You know this pastime in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Brahma comes and steals all the cowhead boys and the calves of Krishna and hides them somewhere. After 1 year he comes and he realizes that all of them are intact. Then to Brahma's great surprise and astonishment, all these gopas and calves become 400 Vishnu Murtis and they merge into Krishna. Then Brahma realizes his mistake and he understands that, oh Krishna, you are the source of unlimited Narayanas. I offer my obeisances unto you. So why suddenly Kaviraj Goswami quotes this Brahma's prayers in this context? Because by quoting the previous shloka of Bhagavatam, Vadanti tat tattva vidah tattvam yajnanam advayam, Kaviraj Goswami established that Bhagavan is superior to Brahman and Paramatma. That much only is established from there. And that Bhagavan could be either Narayana or Krishna, right? But Krishna as Bhagavan is more complete and greater than Narayana as Bhagavan. Both can be called Bhagavan, of course. But Krishna is source of Narayana also. So now we have concluded that Bhagavan is superior to Brahman and Paramatma. That's fine. Absolute truth is Bhagavan. And who is that Bhagavan? Narayana or Krishna? Some people think that Narayana is the source and Krishna is an incarnation. Why? They give a reason. Narayana has 4 hands, Krishna has only 2 hands. The person who has 2 hands must be an incarnation. The person who has 4 hands must be the source. They think like that. But Kaviraj Goswami quotes Brahma Vimohana Leela and this particular prayer of Brahma and says that Krishna, you are the source of Narayana, not just one Narayana. You are the source of unlimited Narayanas, unlimited Vishnus. Because all these boys, cowhead boys and the calves became 400 Vishnu Murtis and they all merged within Krishna, Krishna Murti, right? So Krishna is the source. So Krishna only manifested them. So they all came from Krishna. They all went back into Krishna. Although Krishna is looking like a 6-year-old boy, he is the supreme source of all Narayanas. So Brahma offers this prayer in the Bhagavatam. Narayanastvam nahi sarvadehinam atmasya dhisha kila loka sakshim Narayanongam narabhujalayanat tacchapi satyam natavaiva mayayam Narayanastvam nahi sarvadehinam. My dear Krishna, are you not the original Narayana? Now, actually Brahma says, oh Krishna, you are my father, please forgive me. I have stolen your calves. Then Krishna says, I am your father. Narayana is your father. I am not your father. I am a cowherd boy. My father is Nanda Maharaj. You are saying that I am your father. I am a 6-year-old boy. How can I be your father? Then Brahma says, no, you are my father. You are my father's father. My father is Narayana. I am born from the lotus that sprouted from Narayana's navel. And that Narayana is Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. And that Narayana came from another Narayana, another Vishnu, that is Karanodakasaya Vishnu. And you are the source of that Karanodakasaya Vishnu also. From you only Karanodakasaya Vishnu came. So from Krishna comes Balaram. From Balaram comes Chaturvyuha. From the Chaturvyuha comes another set of Chaturvyuha. And from the Sankarshan of the second Chaturvyuha, Dvitiya Chaturvyuha, which is called Mahasankarshan, this Purushavatara, Mahavishnu manifests. And from Mahavishnu comes Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. From Garbhodakasaya Vishnu comes Kshirodakasaya Vishnu. So, it is very clearly established through Brahma's prayers that Krishna is the source of the source of the source of the source of Vishnu. And Vishnu is just an expansion of an expansion of an expansion of Krishna. It's quite clear. And Brahma says that from that Narayana Mahavishnu's bodily pores, millions of universes come out. And how many universes come out? You see, during the daytime, say you open your window and some sun particle, some molecule, sunshine will come into your house. So in that sunshine, you can see so many small molecules, right? How many? Can you count them? You cannot count them. So many universes come out of Mahavishnu's body, right? That's a simple figurative example, description only. Unlimited universes come from Mahavishnu. And in one of those universes, I am Brahma and I am so proud. And you are the source of the source of the source of Mahavishnu. Where are you and where am I? You are the source of Narayana. So in this way, Kaviraj Goswami also explains this shloka elaborately. Atma means Krishna is the supreme cause and shelter. Adhisha means he is the Lord of all Purushavataras. Akhila Loka Sakshi means he is the witness of all living beings. So this is second shloka quoted by Kaviraj Goswami from Bhagavatam. First shloka was Vadanti tat tattva vidaha tattvam vijnanam advayam. Second shloka was Narayanastvam nahi sarvadehinam, Brahma's prayer. Then third shloka he quotes Ete cham sakalaha pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indra rivyakulam lokam mridayanti yuge yuge. This shloka is very popular. Everybody knows this shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam in the third chapter of the first canto. Ete cham sakalaha pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. In this third chapter, Suta Goswami describes several incarnations of the Lord. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narada, so many such incarnations he describes. And he also mentions Krishna there as a part of this list of incarnations. And at the end he says, Ete cham sakalaha pumsaha. All these incarnations I have described are like amshas or kalas, means are expansions are expansions of Purushavatas. But Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, but Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He kept Krishna in the list, but at the end he said, this Krishna which I have kept in the list, he is not an incarnation. He is the source of incarnation. He is Bhagavan Swayam. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And Kaviraj Goswami also describes some grammatical analysis here. Subject and predicate analysis. We don't have time to go to all those details. But basically, what is said later gets more prominence, gets more importance than what is said before. So, although Krishna is counted in the incarnations, at the end, Suta Goswami says, Krishna is Bhagavan directly. He is not just an incarnation. So, you have to give more prominence to this statement. And there is more analysis. You can go through Caitanya-caritamrita. So, it's just an overview session. So, this is another shloka that is quoted by Kaviraj Goswami to establish that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, all these shlokas, 3 shlokas we have seen. Vadanti tattvavidaha, Narayanastam nahi sarvadehinam, ite chamsha kalapumsa. All these 3 shlokas are presented so that we understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then one more shloka that he quotes, that is, not one, it's a pair of shlokas. Okay. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshana mutayah manmantaresha nukatha nirodho muktirashriyah. There are 10 topics in Srimad Bhagavatam, everybody knows. The 10 topics are Sarga, primary creation done by the Lord. Visarga, secondary creation done by Brahma and Prajapatis and Manus. Then third, Sthanam, the geography of the universe. Poshanam, protection offered by the Lord. Manvantara, the reign of Manus. Ishanukatha, the stories of the Lord and his devotees. Nirodha means dissolution. Mukti, I think I missed one. Uti is inclination or impetus to perform activities. Then comes Manvantara, that is reign of Manus. Then comes Ishanukatha, the pastimes of the Lord and his devotees. Then Nirodha means dissolution, destruction, pralaya. Mukti means liberation. Then Ashraya means supreme shelter. So out of these 10 topics of Bhagavatam, Ashraya is the supreme topic, and that is described in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. And you see, this 10th canto of Bhagavatam describes Krishna's pastimes. So this Ashraya Tattva is the main topic of Bhagavatam, and that is the Ashraya of other topics, and that is described in 10th canto in which Krishna is there. So Krishna is the Ashraya of everybody. And in fact, all the other 9 topics of Bhagavatam are described to bring the reader to the level of appreciating Ashraya Tattva. So that's described. So Krishna is the supreme shelter. So after describing so many glories of Krishna and establishing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead based on 4 Bhagavatam verses, Kaviraj Goswami concludes, so Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that Krishna appeared as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just like Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Krishna who appeared as Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, he is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the source of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan, is the objective of my book, Sri Caitanya-caritamrita. That is the Vastu Nirdesha. So in this today's session, I took 10 minutes extra, but we covered first 2 chapters of Caitanya-caritamrita, Adilila. So in these 2 chapters, we have seen an explanation of first 3 shlokas of Mangalacharan. In this, we have seen the 6 diversities of absolute truth and the glories of Nityananda and Chaitanya, and the objective of this book, Sri Caitanya-caritamrita, which is Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, who is the source of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So with these words, I will conclude today's session. In the next session, we will begin from the 3rd chapter, and we will try to cover some 3-4 chapters in the next session. So Tattva chapters, we can go a little slowly, because understanding this is very important for our own philosophical foundation. Still, I went quite fast. So I hope this is somewhat easy for you to follow. So thank you. Sri Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.